Hi there. So this is my weekly call with Siobhan. I'm Sandra. This is Siobhan. Hi, Siobhan.
Howdy.
So one of the things Siobhan and I wanted to chat about today is the difference being alcohol free. Going through just the tonic program is made to Siobhan's career. So Siobhan, how long ago was it that you joined Just a Tonic?
2 years, coming up for 2 years. It'll be 2 years next month.
Right, 2 years next month. So when we first started working together, and you were struggling with alcohol, it was obviously had an impact in different areas of your life. What was the situation with your job?
I really didn't like my job. I didn't think I was very good at my job. I was struggling. Also, there was a bit of menopause thrown in, and of course, we blame the menopause for a great many things, but I think an awful lot of it was down to drinking far more than the recommended dose each week, but far, far more. And it was having a massively negative impact on my job. Just the fog, the hangover, lethargy. I just didn't feel like I was functioning as well as I know I can, because things have changed. But I'm good at what I do, but I wasn't very good at what I was doing.
Understand. And I want to take a step back, right? Because when you got that job, so you were a mature student, right? So it can't have been easy going to study and getting a degree when you've got two young children. How did you get on there?
Well, I was drinking doing that as well, and I think, I think I used to have a bit of a delusion that the creative juices would flow when writing an assignment piece for a business degree with a glass of wine there, because that always helps, doesn't it? No, I actually think I would have got a first if I hadn't have done that. But anyway, I got a 2-1. I'm very happy with it. But it was difficult. It was difficult because I was working as well, working children, organising those, going to university 2 nights a week, and it was difficult. But I did it. But I think it's like what we do when we're still drinking. We power through, and everything was powering through, and getting up and doing it almost like to spite the fact that we're doing it whilst running on empty. And but hindsight's a wonderful thing. Looking back, I could have done it a whole lot more energized and everything like that, but I didn't. I got through, and that is exactly it. I got through.
Right, understand. So you got through and then you joined an organization that you're pretty happy to join and you enjoyed your job. Is that right?
Yes. I spent many years trying to get into that organization, and I needed a degree to do it, so I did that. And I got through, and I was delighted. I was absolutely thrilled at getting it. But I'd got through, but my drinking was starting to go up, and then it was starting to go up some more, and then COVID was a big thing. I'm furloughed for 5 months, and then working from home. It just didn't agree with me. There's always 5 o'clock somewhere when you're working from home, I think, and it just didn't. And I just felt lethargic. I didn't feel energized. I'm a people person, and not having that interaction really didn't help me. But again, the drinking spiraling meant that my work effort, I was trying really hard, but it was like running through treacle, because I was always doing it, running on empty. But thankfully, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. So you were in this organization that you loved enough to, as a mature student with like two kids, get your degree. You got in there, and then I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, like COVID, the stress of the job, you're looking after your kids, your drinking went up. So if you go back to 2 years ago when we started working together, what was happening with your job then?
I got demoted. I wasn't meeting the required standard. For all my efforts and all my trying, I just wasn't getting it, and and I'd moved into a new role. I'd been moved sideways in a role due to being reorganized during COVID, and I wasn't a great big fan of this role, and I think that didn't help either. But drinking excessively just made it that much harder. It didn't need to be that hard, and it just made it so much more effort. But I wasn't enjoying my job. I wasn't good at my job. I didn't feel I was good at my job, and that was it. They just, like I said, drop you down a bit and work your way back up, which was mortifying, really. But I took it because probably deserved it, really.
How did that feel then when they said we're moving you down a level?
I was gutted. I'd worked so hard to get in there, but I think it was that or the door, and that was the simple fact of the matter. So that was why I thought, right, okay, I have got to do something now. I have got to change my life. I've got to change the direction of my life because I'm going down, not up. And and I want to go up, and it wasn't happening. So
yeah,
but thankfully, I made the change. I knew I absolutely had to. This is what you've got to do, Siobhan. This is it.
Yeah. So, were you worried you were going to lose your job?
Yeah, I was, because people don't keep you on just because they like you or you're a nice person. You've got to perform. You've got to perform well. You've got to produce the results, and you've got to do your job well, and and meet the expectations that they're paying you to do.
Yeah. I mean, that must have been quite a blow then. Given how proud you were of getting that job, what did that do to your confidence?
Oh, battered, absolutely battered. I mean, it's not something you go shouting from the rooftops, and not something I share very often. But it absolutely battered my confidence. I felt so low. I felt quite a failure, really. I thought, after all that work and effort to get through the door and get the job that I really wanted to do in the company that I really wanted to work for, I thought, oh no. But it really did. The confidence and my self-esteem was absolutely through the floor. So
yeah, and then was drinking like a way to just avoid feeling like that, or no, block that out?
Yeah, it was just like blot it out. I mean, but I wasn't getting up. I wasn't drinking through the day at all. It was the evening. That was it. And you think, you get through the day, you think, right, okay, I'm not tonight. And then you think, oh, right, then I'll just have one, and one becomes two, and then, and round we go again. So, but yeah, my confidence took an awful hiding.
Yeah, I understand. And was that was like the big motivator then for you to get help? Is that right?
There's many motivators, many reasons, and many whys to stop drinking. But I think that was the absolute kick in the backside that I needed. That that was an absolute wake up call. That was just like, things are not going to have a bright and sunny future.
Yeah,
without a job. So so yeah, that was the absolute. That I think was the. There was many straws on the camel's back, but that was the bail. That was a bale of straw on top. That wasn't.
I was wondering what you were going to say there. I was like, Siobhan's going to come out with something amazing. Many straws. Yeah. Back. That was the bale. Love it.
Yeah, that wasn't another straw that broke. That was sort of like bang.
Okay, right. Understand. So we started working together, and like it's not easy, right? So there's work to be done. Like, you've got a lot of support, but like, what did you, when you think back now, what did you notice? Like, what, like in terms of just focusing on your job and how you were feeling, what happened next?
Well, I went off on the sick for a little while, which wasn't great, but two sides to that, you know, every cloud and everything. It gave me the time and space to fix out the issue that I had in front of me, which was drinking too much. And that, I think, was a blessing. Looking back, I think that was a good thing. I took, you know, I had the time, the space, and the support. I mean, I didn't tell them at work what was going on. You know, you throw in a depression or a stress sick note, and you know, and that was fine. And they were very, very supportive, which I'm very, very grateful for. But it did give me the time and the space. And then when I came back into work, I was feeling great. I was feeling stronger. I was, you know, I'd done the 30-day breakthrough and a bit beyond that. And I was feeling so much better in myself. I still had the confidence to build up. Don't get me wrong, because I'd still took that demotion. I'd still, you know, was fixing myself, but I was feeling a whole lot better and better able to cope with the challenges. And yeah, and that was a plus out of that particular, not my finest moment in my life, but hey, back okay.
But you know what's great is like you know, a lot of people don't talk about like mental health, right, and the impact it has. So like being honest with yourself,
Yeah,
and taking time off work to sort out your mental health, and then getting support for alcohol, that must have been quite, like, that's quite a brave thing to do, right? A lot of people would just suffer in silence.
yeah, but I think I'd had my head in the sand for quite a long time. So, but you know, and it was a big wake up call. You know, it was a big bale of straw that made me do it. I think I mean, I'd tried several methods before. You know, I tried books, I tried podcasts, and it just, but I needed something more structured. I needed the accountability, is what I needed, and that's what I got. So that's why I think I made such a huge turnaround, and I think I've said this before. It's not that I can't drink or I shouldn't drink, or I just don't want to, because it's so much better without it. So that's me. I wake up and I go to work and I'm annoyingly bright and cheerful these days, which is
And how long a break did you have from work?
5 months.
5 months. So when you went back, you had stopped drinking.
Mm.
So I think one of the things that I certainly didn't realize until I'd done this work is it's not just when you do it the way that you've described, where you don't want it to get there. It's not just that you're not drinking, but you've tackled the reasons why you're numbing out, right? So you're like you're feeling different, right? So how, like, what difference did that make to you? Like, because it must have been a bit nerve-wracking going back into work, right? You've been demoted, you've had time off. How are you feeling?
Nervous, apprehensive, a bit like, you know, but someone said something to me many, many years ago. I broke my foot and had a bit of time off work, and I said I was feeling a bit apprehensive about going back. And someone said to me, Siobhan, that's bigger in your head than it is in anybody else's. Everyone will be delighted to see you back. And I took that same approach. It's bigger in my head than it is in theirs. They need me back in their team, and I'm back and ready to rock and roll again. And it was, and you know, and they do welcome you back. They do understand mental health now. It's not a taboo subject. It's not something we sweep under the carpet and forget about. It's something that most companies, are quite supportive of. They want a fit and, you know, able workforce, you know, be, you know, in every aspect.
Yeah. So being brave enough to do something about it, you found you were supported.
Yeah.
And what was it like? So you had 5 months off and then you were alcohol free. So you're going back into work, you're sort of like navigating what that's like. What did you notice? Like, what was different because you weren't drinking?
I could get up really early in the morning. That's always a bonus, isn't it? And not having the fog, not having the mental fog, having clarity, looking at stuff and understanding it, and getting results, seeing things clearer, and having the clarity to do my job more effectively, having engaging conversations with people, and and because when you drink to excess for over a period of time, it creates a fog, and fog was gone, and and I'd got that mental sharpness back, and it was I was asked to go into a different team, which was a more challenging team, but one that I jumped at the opportunity because it was somewhere I'd worked, a department I'd worked in the past, and I thought, yes, I'm going back there, and this time I'm going back and I'm firing on all cylinders. So
That's
what I
excellent.
did.
So you're waking up in the morning, you're feeling sharper, and the brain fog's gone. Did that help build your confidence?
Yes, because it helped build my confidence, because I knew I was confident in what I was doing. I knew that my actions in my workplace, I was doing the right thing. I was making the right decisions. I was engaging the right people, and then when people start giving you feedback and saying, "Oh yeah, that was you did that. It was really good. That was oh, Siobhan has made the difference with that." And that builds your confidence as well, because you're trusting your instinct, you're trusting your judgment, because your judgment isn't being fogged and isn't being, dulled or anything like that, because you've got the sharpness. It's there, and so when people notice that, starts to build your confidence as well. So it becomes a different kind of hamster wheel, and a different kind of you start going around thinking, oh, hang on, this is good, and you start to go faster and faster, and you think, hey, so
Excellent.
yeah.
And so that, I mean, that sounds like a big difference, right? But like this, how long ago was this? About a year and a half ago?
Yeah, about a year and a
Right.
half ago.
So there must have been times when like your job was challenging, since you've been alcohol free. So in the past, you would have come home, blocked it out with wine. So you go back, things are feeling a lot better, but I'm guessing you had days or weeks where it was tough. What did you do rather than drink? What was your coping mechanism?
Not drinking. I'd play music. I play
Saxophone?
and I took up the saxophone. That was my gift to myself when I was 100 days alcohol free. I decided I want to learn saxophone. So that was this is me time. And the good thing about the saxophone is it's not everyone's cup of tea. So you're guaranteed to be in the room on your own, because no one wants to come in and disturb you. So that's a bit of me time. It's great. Not sure if the neighbours love it, but I don't know. They'll be fine. So there was that. So finding newer and better things to do, and in the evenings, sitting down watching something on telly and remembering it. That's always a plus. And if I did feel a pang, urge, very fleeting, very fleeting. I just message a mate saying, "Oh, what are you up to?" Having a bit of a wobble, and then you'd get some support in, and there's always a Magnum ice cream just in case. Just always have a well-stocked freezer. That's key to success in my book. But it's just finding something newer, different, better, because cooking. Make something to eat, but something nice, something tasty, something gorgeous. Go out for something to eat. Pick your mate up, or go out with the husband and say, I'll drive. Because before that was, oh no, who's driving? I don't want to drive. You drive. Yeah, and but you don't get a taxi on a Wednesday. But because of being able to drive in the evenings and things like that, it's the world is my lobster, as Rodney would say.
Fantastic. So did you feel that you had different techniques to handle stress?
Yes, meditation is always good. Anger management meditation is always good. and just sometimes go for a walk, or if you get wound up, go for a walk, remove yourself from the situation, just step away, take 5 minutes, just sort of like so, and regroup, just go, right, okay, back in, take a deep breath, and rather than fighting your way through, rather than sort of like battling your way through like a stressful situation, sometimes it's just better to sort of like take a step back, say, hang on, right, I just need 5 minutes of me, have a wander up the garden, just do something, remove yourself. And that's what I do these days. I'm very calm and chilled these days. People are wondering, like, what have you done with Siobhan? She's here. She's just, new and chilled.
She's upgraded. So,
She
like, and when you were like just being able to handle the stress and like, like this still quite new, you being alcohol free, like, I guess like you had your friends, right? Being in the upgraded life and having other people that were also doing what you were doing, what
Yes.
difference did that make?
Massive, because you start looking for different milestones. You start looking, you pass your 30-day challenge. There's new things. What am I going to do next? And it's taking on. It's not taking on anything. It's getting different support, but of a different kind. So upgrading life in general. The alcohol-free bit, right? That's done. I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable with that. What's next? What's going to fill all those empty hours that I used to do, wasting them, right? Just having another drink. So having the support of the upgraded life is great. There's great camaraderie, really great camaraderie. And very different spectrum of people, but all want the same goal, all wanting to improve. And be it a calendar girl photo shot on a beach somewhere, or riding a bike, or swimming at 7 o'clock in the morning, sharing wins and achievements. It's really good. It's really uplifting and really motivating. And I find the whole group thing and accountability for improvement, it's priceless. It really is. It's I don't know. I just feel like a completely different person. I really do.
Yeah. And so tell us about so we were going back a couple of years. We started working together. You'd been demoted. You had time off work with depression. Then you went back to work. Things started turning around. You went into a new team. What's happening with your job now?
Oh, I'm on fire. I'm really loving what I do, and I trust my judgment. I got promoted a couple of months ago. Recommendation at the end of the promotion: get promoted again, Siobhan, as soon as you possibly can, because you've already hitting that level. Because my ability is already in there. It's just sort of like the rules and regs that sort of like hold you. You've got to stay there until you do the presentation pack, basically. So it's you're working at that level already. So get yourself up to that level. Because I'm already doing it. Because people trust me in my role. They know that I'm good at what I do. I am the subject matter expert in my particular field, and I feel really confident in my ability. I feel really empowered because I know that it's all in there and it's all coming out, and I'm spreading a bit of Siobhan love around, and a bit of feel good. So, but when people, sometimes if someone says, "How do you feel?" Oh, hi, how are you? And oh, I'm all right. No, so it's like, oh, I'm fabulous. How are you feeling today? Oh, great. And they go, oh, you've been sarcastic. No, I actually am. So I just,
the British mentality.
Who does that? Who says that? Well, actually, another one is wonderful. How are you feeling? I'm wonderful, like, marvelous. Just throw out a big word, and then and it spreads. And having that positivity is contagious. It spreads to other people. It spreads to people within the office. No one likes seeing someone miserable in the office. That sort of like you think, oh, I'm not going to sit beside her. She'll face like a wet weekend. So, but yeah, if you have positivity, it's contagious. It spreads. It grows. It's really good. It's like having that ready Brett glow around you. It's like,
Yeah. And
how you
then,
doing?
and so then, like, some of the tools that you use, right? Like when we've been working together, like I remember when you got promoted, and congratulations for that, because it's such a brilliant turnaround. It's amazing. But when you got promoted and you were talking about how you were able to look at your brag book, tell us about that. What happened there?
Okay, so the brag book is something we learned in the in Just Tonic. So it's writing down achievements of, you know, things that are good, things that have happened. Because when you write down positive things or reflect on positive things in your life, you look for the positives. You know, if you write down all the miserable things that happened, oh God, this morning and a flat tire, and that's not gonna give you the zhuzh you need to get out of bed and go and do the best you can. So writing down the achievements. I do 3 a day. I do three wins a day. Write them in a book and look back. So when it came to my year-end review, which was after my promotion, it's sort of like, you know, things you've done well, things you did here, things you did that. So I look back at like journaling and my brag book, and I wrote down a blow-by-blow account of all the wonderful things I'd done throughout the year, that I've achieved this, I've done that, I've changed that, I've influenced this. And all of that came from doing all the writing that I've done over the last, 18 months, 2 years, by going through the Just a Tonic, because it's given me the confidence, and writing down the inner beliefs, it gives me the confidence to say, I can do this. I have done that. This was me. And at the bottom, Siobhan. Yeah. It's just, it gives you the confidence to do it by reflecting on the good stuff, by having that brag book and looking back and saying, all right, okay, wow, that was me. But I did, and and so looking back, of how far you've come, so you can sort of like start at the beginning. It's just like, yeah, okay, things weren't too terrific there, and you're looking through like muddy spectacles because it wasn't great at the start, but like now, and it's not looking through rose tinted glasses either. It's looking through things that are crystal clear, because this is what I can see, this is what I do, and so I write it down.
I love that. And I remember you telling me that when you were filling in your appraisal, there was one of your colleagues and you were explaining to them about the brag book and how to fill it in. So
Yeah,
you're influencing other people there as well.
yeah. I just say 3 a day, just like three wins a day. They're like, what? I said, just do it. I said, it'll change your life. And they're like, I wouldn't go that far. I would. It because it gives you the confidence, it gives you the inner belief, and it puts pen to paper and say, I have done this. So
And when you chat to people about your job now, like what is it like to know that you're valued, that you're doing well, that they want you to get the next promotion? What difference does that make versus a couple of years ago?
oh God, I feel brilliant. I like my job. I like what I do, but I just didn't realise how good I was at it when I'm firing on all cylinders, and that's what I'm doing now. But having people recognise that, and having people say, "Oh, hang on, oh, you need that doing. Oh, ask Siobhan, she knows." It's just yes, I can do that. Of course, I can do that. But it just gives me such a boost and such an inner confidence and such pride. I think pride in my own ability, pride that I can do this, and I can do anything.
So when we first started and you thought about your job, and that was the bale of hay that broke the camel's back, that made you do the work, what were you hoping for in terms of your job?
I was hoping to get back on track. I was hoping to be good at my job. I was hoping to get back up to the level where I'm at now. I was hoping to go back on the upward trend, but I doing it with such zest, confidence, that and belief, self-belief, You know, I don't think I was expecting it to be quite as big as, you know, when I first became alcohol free. You know, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can. But it's so much bigger than that. It's like, yes, I can do that, and it just sounds so cheesy. It sounds really, you know, but it's not. It's very real. It's what I can do, and I'm good at it.
That's brilliant. If you were talking to your younger, like 2 years ago, like to yourself about that sort of fear about like making the change and asking for help, what would you say?
Do it. Do it. I just do it now. Don't wait. Just do it. What are you thinking about? Get on with it. Do it. And because it's massive. It's been a massive change, a massive turnaround, massive shift in mindset. You know, it's not. It's the whole mindset. It's the whole mindset of my and the confidence in my own ability. Like I just said, it's just, you know, I always say I wish I'd have done this years ago. I wish I'd have done it sooner. But as so one of the lovely ladies on the JTT group said, the windscreen is bigger than the rear view mirror for a reason, and it is. You know, we can keep looking backwards and saying I wish, or we can look forward and say I will.
Oh, I love that. That's Siobhan saying for the week. Don't say I wish, say I will. Thank you very much.
I wish I will.
Brilliant. Thanks for sharing that. That's amazing. Thank you.
Cheers.